Hi, and welcome to Wrong Way! Let's talk about the LeaperKim Lynx-S, shall we? Let me tell you more about it.
Wrong way.
Now, if you don't know anything about me, you're new to the channel, then hi, I'm Adam. I'm also known as Mr. Wrong Way, and I'm from Poland. If you don't know anything about Poland, then just look at this.
Ja pierdolę, jakie bydle!
Yes, that's Polish, and I'm very proud of it. And over the past 6 years, I've ridden probably over 100 electric unicycles and gathered tens of thousands of kilometers of performance riding on those crazy electric machines. So for this video, I thought I would do something different. There'll be just a lot more riding, a lot more rambling. Just welcome maybe Unhinged Adam to the channel. Say hello to Unhinged Adam in the comments below. Because at this point I'm just like, I don't give a flying flounder about the wheel having Bluetooth speakers or having this kind of feature or that kind of thing in it. I just want it to work, I want it to have good performance, I want it to have good reliability, easy to work on, and you know, just reasonable stuff like lights, etc. And coming from the LeaperKim Lynx that I've ridden to almost death before, the Lynx-S should be just that. But is it? Let's see. But before that, really quick, a huge thanks to channel sponsor MyEwheel. If you want to get a wheel in Europe, feel free to check out their site. They have a plethora of wheels to choose from. Also the LeaperKim Lynx-S, you can select what kind of variant you want. And you can also use my coupon code WRONGWAY to get an additional 5% discount. And I also do receive a kickback from those orders. Oh, and I got the LeaperKim Lynx from LeaperKim directly. I didn't buy it, so even if I get those wheels for free from those Chinese manufacturers here, LeaperKim, I ride them as I would steal them. And well, if you've seen any of my prior videos, also on Instagram, well, there's proof for that, and I'm not afraid to say what I don't like about a certain model. In this video, you'll see us riding in Polish mountains. Well, not the biggest ones we have, but still they're good. They're above average, okay? And we are around the easy to pronounce cities of Szczawno-Zdrój, Jedlina-Zdrój, and Wałbrzych. I promise you, even if you get electrocuted, you won't be able to say it out loud. We went here with my buddy Chaos EUC, Kamil Ostaszewski, and had plenty of fun here, and Paweł Biernacki also joined us for some mountain riding. Thanks for sharing the fun! So first up, let's talk about riding on a street. On-road, not off-road. And I have to say to you guys, there is a big difference between the Lynx and the Lynx-S. And I think it comes from a combination of having the new suspension, which is a lot better for the smaller bumps. And maybe you sit a little bit lower on the suspension, so you have a little bit more sag. Your pedals, your feet are closer to the ground. And at the same time, this wheel has just so much oomph, and you feel the additional power of this new motor in the LeaperKim Lynx-S. If I would compare those wheels to a toilet or restroom visit after food, the LeaperKim Lynx would be a visit after some Indian food, but the LeaperKim Lynx-S would be like a full-blown Mexican tortilla with lots of spicy sauce, jalapenos, and later on you just drink some coffee on top of it. This thing is mental! The top speed of this wheel should be around 90 to 100 kilometers an hour. I just dare to go about maybe 80, 85, but how it gets there is insane. And look at my setup too. I don't have any pads. I ride on 3% pedal stiffness, so almost all the way loose, and I have my brand new SPD pedals. And boy oh boy do I love this setup. This thing definitely wants you to go fast. And on a speed related note, on a LeaperKim Lynx, I never had a speed cutout, so I guess that's great. Just be careful of those side winds. Look how windy it is here. Higher speeds on electric unicycles aren't as safe as on motorcycles. All of this does come with a drawback though. This thing eats battery quick, and expect maybe 10 kilometers less of range, like 10-20% less range on the Lynx-S versus the Lynx, just because the sheer amount of power is available to you there. But if you want to go racing, if you want to ride around the city, the suspension will help you a lot. The added performance boost will help you with acceleration and braking. Well, on a street, I think, except for the range, the Lynx-S is a clear upgrade over the Lynx. When it comes to off-road riding, well, the new Lynx-S leci jak dzik po szyszkach, which means it flies like a boar over pine cones. And, well, the Lynx was already great at off-roading, and I feel like the additional oomph and the additional power and, I don't know, responsiveness in the motor and the control board just makes this thing so much more fun. And especially going up hills, you just feel like it flies. Look at me, I have no pads on, I have just my SPD pedals, I have the pedal stiffness at 3%, and I can like almost keep up with the other guys. Like, keep in mind, this was my first day just riding no pads in the mountains, and considering this, I think it's a very, very good result. The new suspension design also does feel different to the old suspension design. Now we have a pneumatic sort of bottom out chamber on it, which means that most of the suspension travel is linear, not linear, which is working at LeaperKim, linear. And you can notice that on the smaller bumps, this thing feels a lot better. So for going fast on like a pretty nice gravel path, this thing feels a lot lighter and nicer. But for the heavy off-roaders, when you want to really stand high on the wheel, this might be just a little bit more difficult to do than on the Lynx. And the concern I saw the most in my comment section and on forums is that this thing bottoms out easily. And let's do it like this. If you want to see me do a bottom out test on this wheel, then I don't want to receive a certain amount of likes on this video, because I might just not follow through. I want to receive, in real life, 6 pieces of Roman salad. I repeat, 6 pieces of Roman salad, and then I will do a real life bottom out test on the new LeaperKim Lynx-S. Now for me, just riding on this wheel around and doing also some bigger jumps, drops, I personally like to ride with my pedals a bit closer to the ground when it comes to like the balance, but on the other hand, I don't like the pedals low because then it's easier to scrape them going uphill and downhill, like catch some roots on the go. Well, for me, it wasn't a big problem riding the trails here, and I didn't experience any pedal clips on it, but I do feel that this wheel rides lower than the LeaperKim Lynx, and on bigger jumps, I didn't feel any issues, but I can imagine that if you drop on this wheel, it might be a bit more painful than on the old one. But on the contrary side, I feel like the suspension is just a lot smoother, a lot nicer, and I don't feel like the annoying clicks that I could hear before on the Lynx are an issue anymore. I feel like both ways, having the suspension like compress and decompress, it just, for me, it's an upgrade. I feel like it's nicer to ride, but, you know, I'm not a super hardcore off-road trail rider, so, I don't know, check out some other videos if you want to see a bit more perspective on that. Other than that, going off-road, this wheel feels stellar. It's very planted. I like the software. I don't like it as much as Kingsong software or maybe even Big Goat software. Big Goat software is like a lot more adjustable and you can like change a lot more parameters to it, but this thing is predictable. It does stuff correctly. It has the Hall sensorless riding mode, so even if a Hall sensor breaks, which is a small cable that goes to the controller to the motor, like from the controller to the motor, then this wheel keeps riding. You won't fall off from it, which is crucial to a one-wheeled device. Going uphill, amazing. Going downhill, amazing. Doing trails, I mean, for me it's fun, but, you know, as many there is riders, thus many there are opinions. I can just tell you that this thing, it flies like a boar over pine cones. Now, very briefly, before we get to my favorite part, which is jumping this wheel, let's talk about some key differences of the features that we have on the LeaperKim Lynx-S. First up, well, the pedals changed. These are not the ones that come with the wheel. These are my SPD pedals from Chaos UC. Those are the pedals that you get with the wheel. Bigger spikes, bigger area, everything better.
nice change. We also get new suspension on this wheel, not Fast Ace anymore. This is just LeaperKim branded, and you also need to pump it up on the bottom. So about 50 psi, that's what I have in it. But even so, with all of the rebound on max, which is, come on, over here, boom. This wheel is still kind of soft, and the rebound and the compression is still kind of fast. It's kind of nice that the cables are out here to like disconnect the battery quickly, but at the same time it's just protected by this. And those protectors should be good for, you know, rainy rides, etc, etc. The preload setting, I think it's gone. I don't see it here anymore. Maybe the preload is what you do on the bottom here. Staying near the top of the wheel, this thing is now a lot more ergonomic, which I like. The front handle is also ergonomically improved, and in the back it also seems a little better. We also get the old trolley handle design in the back, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but hey, we got it here. I would prefer this design, which is also on the Sherman L and the Oryx with the handle here on top. I'm a big fan of the improved light, which also has a daytime running light now. And the beam is not blinding, yay, with strong and weaker light settings. The tail light is also a bit improved. I think it's brighter, also has this part in the middle now, and right above it you have your charge ports with a better flap. 5 amps is the stock charger. You can charge it quickly, I believe up to 15 or even 20 amps. Super quick charging on this wheel. You just need a pit zoom charger for it. Link in Linktree. A really nice touch is also the fold away kickstand. Ugh! Feels very sturdy, very solid. Really good for doing drops and some bigger jumps. Awesome to have it. But right away here is also the thing I most dislike about the new wheel. Look at this. Yeah, it's filthy. Like the new mud guards are much worse than the old mud guards when it comes to rainy rides. Like there's just so much mud all over this wheel. Same in the front. The front one is also much shorter. This wheel is filthy and I don't like this. Maybe it's better for off-roading, but I just really don't like how filthy this wheel is. And yeah, I also removed the toe clip thing here because I ride SPD. Really nice bumpers though on the bottom and on top of the wheel. Also love the tread pattern here, but I believe the rubber is not as good as the original, the Shinko. This is a TNT tire. The screen is what we know and love on LeaperKim wheels with 4 buttons, and yeah, everything is very readable. There is no SIM card here like in Emotion, so the wheel can get tracked by, you know, Chinese manufacturers. You just turn it on and you go. That's really how I like it. Super readable, super nice. That's how it should be. So yeah, if I wanted to change anything on this wheel, it's definitely the mud guards. Maybe the trolley handle, like a different trolley handle would be nicer. But apart from that, man, those things are just indestructible. Like the Lynxes, they just keep on riding. Like that's why they are so liked amongst the riders, because they're just so robust and durable.
Now let's get to jumping, and finally I've turned my microphone the right way around, because yes, I'm a pro YouTuber, and for the rest of the video it was the wrong way around. I guess the name of the channel is apt. In any case, when it comes to jumping with my SPD pedals, I've felt a newborn power, especially also with the power of this wheel. Now, when it comes to jumping, sadly we still have the tilt back in the air. I believe it has something to do with the software just not really knowing what to do when the wheel like rides down, because it also sort of tilts forward when you go into the jump. With that said, I've cleared some of the biggest jumps in my life with this wheel, and I feel very, very powerful. And yes, we cleaned up after we did some jumping at Dirt Cosmos in Wrocław, and later on we went to a amazing, absolutely phenomenal 4-cross track in Szczawno-Zdrój. I mean, Kamil, thank you so much for bringing me here. That was a great idea to come here and test out the wheels and just have fun as well. Kamil did plenty of stuff on the LeaperKim Lynx as well, so this wheel is still great, but we still are yet to unlock some of the bigger sends like this step up and a sort of canyon or over a track jump here. Not really a canyon. We're not Chibi time yet, I guess. This track was beautiful and amazing. I loved it. With that said, when it comes to riding the LeaperKim Lynx-S here, I mean, it felt so at home here. And even going into the berms and turning in the berms, it was fine for me with the SPD pedals, but it still doesn't feel as good as it could be. I think that the berm angle tilt adjustment that Begode has would be just so helpful for this wheel in those conditions. With that said, with the amount of power it has, with the stability, and with smooth landings, I had no problem at all with the suspension. And I did, like, one of the biggest jumps or longest jumps ever that I did here. Like, this gap is just ginormous. So yeah, when it comes to the wheel in total, I mean, I think it's just better than the Lynx. I just like it a lot more. I wouldn't see myself going back to the Lynx after riding the Lynx-S. But if you already have a Lynx, should you upgrade? Well, I don't know. Like, it has some upsides and downsides. I just really love how it flies like a boar over pine cones. Like, that's just something I really like. And, you know, the other improvements are great, like the light and, you know, the better pedals, etc, etc. So if you're buying a new wheel, I guess get the Lynx-S, but if you already have a Lynx, do you need to upgrade? Well, I'm not sure. I also need to keep in mind, I'm a spoiled little YouTuber that gets those wheels for free. Would I spend 3,500 euro for a new wheel? Well, I would need to think twice, but to be honest, I already spent big money before on wheels, like on the Sherman Max back in the day and Monster Pro, so yeah, maybe I'm not so spoiled after all. With that said, if you like this kind of content, instead of me just ranting over specifications and going into details, then please give it a like, because I'm really tired of making those other videos. Please keep Unhinged Adam alive, because that way I can have just more fun making those videos. Toodles! See you soon!